Hi everybody. Well, today we've got two more plants to look at, and I picked these two plants in part because they're both real pretty spring flowers, but also because these two different species allow me to show you sort of two very different flower shapes and to give you a sense for some of the diversity that you're going to see out there. So the first one that we've got is right down here. It's this yellow flower right here, and this is called trout lily or erythronium. And this one is really distinctive by its leaves, which I think are just beautiful, but also the flowers. So the leaves, you can see, have this kind of camouflaged or mottled appearance, and this, you can't hardly miss that even if the flower is not there. You'll see these two leaves often just sprouting. So when this is done flowering, you'll still see those two leaves sitting out there, and you'll know that that's erythronium. But it also has these very pretty yellow flowers that open up. You can see one right here. And so this flower has a particular type of symmetry that we call radial symmetry, or we say that it's radially symmetric. And the botanical term that we use for that is, a botanist would say that it's actinomorphic. And I'm going to compare that to something that's very different, another really cool plant, in just a couple of minutes. But first I wanted to show you this one. So this has 6 petals on it, and this is, the petals on this are really, it's 3 sepals that look like petals and then 3 true petals. So I used this term in an earlier video. These are actually called tepals. And then inside it, so tepals are where the petals and the sepals look the same. Inside it, we've got these stamens with the long, large brown anthers on them that produce the pollen. And then inside that is the pistil, and that's what we think of as the female part. That's where the pollen would be deposited. So again, that is trout lily or erythronium, and really distinctive with its mottled leaves and then these beautiful nodding yellow flowers. And so now we're going to move over and take a look at another species that's quite different from it, and it has a very different type of floral symmetry. Here's our second species for this video, and it's right down here. This one's called Dutchman's breeches or Dicentra, and this one is in the poppy family, the Papaveraceae, and that's actually a really interesting family. Botanists like to count things, so we often count the numbers of petals, the numbers of sepals and stamens and stuff in a flower, and that helps us determine what things that plant is related to, what family it's in, and things like that. The poppy family that has this plant in it has parts that come in 4s, so it will usually have 4 petals and then multiples of 4 or 8 stamens and things like that. So that number is actually fairly unusual. There are not many plants out there. There are just a handful of families that have parts in 4s. We say that they're 4-meris is the term that we use. And this is one that has those. But these, that's not really what I wanted to show you here. What I really wanted to show you was the flowers on this. And so this flower right here, again, Dutchman's breeches. It's called that because it looks kind of like a pair of billowy pants that a Dutchman would wear. And instead of being radially symmetrical, like the last plant that we looked at, the erythronium, which, by the way, here's a trout lily leaf right here with our Dutchman's breeches. These are the Dutchman's breeches leaves. Instead of being radially symmetrical or actinomorphic, these flowers are bilaterally symmetrical. Okay, so they're not circular in their symmetry, they're flattened out. The term that we'll use on that a botanist would use, is we would say these are zygomorphic. Instead of actinomorphic, they're zygomorphic. And in the Dutchman's breeches flowers, what you're going to see is it's got 2 spurred petals on the outside, and those are the real showy ones. And these spurs contain nectar in the back of them for the pollinator. And then inside there, if I can open this up, there are 2 additional tiny little petals that sort of wrap around the rest of the inside of the flower, the inside parts, the male and female parts. And so that's what we've got here. Dutchman's breeches has these beautiful dissected leaves and these amazing spurred, zygomorphic, or bilaterally symmetric flowers.